a lot more as the year went on because he's a very quick learner, especially what we do schematically. We put a lot on those guys, and so he's high football IQ, good tackler, and seeing him grow. This is really the first off season he's had where he hasn't had to get surgery and miss. So, and Coach Kagan and staff did a great job with him from the spring to the fall, and he just really stepped up. He's one of our better players on defense, and ended up winning the job, and he's doing a great job.
Same question about Rodney Robinson. What did he do to win that job?
Yeah, I think just the same. I mean, it's the discipline and how you do everything. Obviously, just like all these guys, we're going to keep growing from week 1 to week 2. But he really stood out in regards to how much he's really picked up, how he studies, how he preps, and that's been a testament to a lot of our older guys in the room, Tyreek Jones, JL, helping him, show him how to keep growing. And Shea Oladipo is going to play a ton too. I mean, those guys are going to continue to battle it out because they both had really good fall camps.
Rodney's a smaller guy in stature, but how does he make up for that on the field?
He's a very savvy football player. He plays tough, plays bigger than he is. Obviously very explosive, but he also, with how he understands the game, he plays very fast, which you need to when you're undersized. And so it's been cool to see him grow from not only just being a savvy football player, but now how I can be savvy within the scheme to do my 111. And he's had a really good fall camp, but like I said, Shea Oladipo's had a good fall camp too, and they've been battling it out. So excited to see both of them continue to do that.
How much better? Isaiah can obviously play the edge position, but moving him back, was that just more because you had the good depth at the linebacker spot?
Yeah, Isaiah's such a he had a great fall camp. It was great getting him all that work at will. He's obviously one of our better pass rushers and does a great job of setting edges. So you are gonna see Isaiah in a lot of different roles, and he's gonna be a huge part of what we do on defense. With DJ stepping it up, as well as Brandon Hawkins and Andrew Simpson at will, we felt like at this point we feel good about that position. And so Isaiah is gonna be playing a lot, and he's gonna be in a lot of different spots. So the position versatility that he's at now, we can get in a lot of different packages and put him in a lot of different situations.
How much more confident are you about your defensive talent setting up today as you were last year?
Yeah, I think it's just with this group. Obviously, we've got some new faces. We got a good group returning. Just like anything, you after season, you look at, okay, where do we need to grow? How do we need to get better? Seeing our team, our staff work on that in spring ball, work on that in summertime, work on that in fall camp. I think to this point, I'm just really excited to go see our guys compete. And that's really our message to them. Like, obviously the work's not done. We're going to keep working all the way till kickoff. But I'm just really excited to see our guys go cut it loose and compete. And I am confident. I'm confident because of the work they've put in. Now I'm excited to see them put it on a big stage.
You look at that boundary quarterback spot. Caleb won it, but it looks like Jalen Clark is listed as backup. What has Jalen done to work his way into a potential role there?
The biggest thing for Jalen was him growing just his habits. How he did everything, how he prepped, how he studied, how he took care of his body, because he's got all the physical tools. Long, can run, great kid, picks up football very well. So it's just his habits of how to and how to transition them quickly on the field. If my technique changes on defense, if that number 2 receiver flies to my side, and Coach Warren's done a great job with him taking the skill set he has and then now having him play within the scheme. And he's had a really good fall camp. Obviously, I can't say enough about Caleb Biggers and the growth he's had, and excited to see him this Saturday.
It seems like Oregon State always has some crazy running back who goes for 1,400 yards. They lose Baylor, but bring in some other guys. What do you see from their running back position?
Yeah, I mean, from the bottom of my heart, I have the utmost respect for what they do offensively. Obviously, they had a great year offensively last year, but even more to what they do in the run game. I think their offensive line coach is one of the best in the business in regards to dealing with different fronts, different pressures, different looks, and having answers. They always find a way to have answers and getting the right call. And so the tailbacks obviously do a great job with making them right. And just like a great program, they're going to find a way to put a tailback, even if they lose someone, put them right in. And number 5 is a great runner, and they've got depth there as well. So got a lot of respect to what they do up front, and they do a great job not just with the O-line tight ends. They'll bring the receivers in the run fits, and their physicals as all get out as well. So hats off to what they do just from a whole picture offensively, but especially in the run game.
You look at, Kelly was telling us that you guys are basically calling the defensive end and the edges.
Yep.
How much, there are a lot of guys on this depth chart that weren't here last year.
Yeah.
How much did you guys make an effort to rebuild that position, and how do you feel about it going into this season?
Yeah, that position is paramount to our success on defense, just like the majority of the defense in the country. Because on the edge, obviously, in the run game, you want to set edges so you can play in a box, and then when it goes high, half pass, you need those guys to go get after the quarterback. So having those guys play at a high level is paramount. And then with guys either we've lost, obviously losing Shane over the summertime to injury, bringing in these guys and having them grow and step up. Coach Pop, Coach Avalos have done a great job with them this, once again, spring ball to fall camp to now, that I feel really confident who they are. Obviously, they still got room to grow just like everybody else on our team, but they've had a really good fall camp. And now, just like anything, I'm excited for them to keep prepping, and I'm excited to see what they do on Saturday.
I kind of say this jokingly or whatever, but have you ever had to compete with a guy like George Charles to see who gets into a building first? You or a player?
I'll tell you what, George is probably the first one here every single day, and I knew that in the springtime when he'd be like, Coach, how early are you getting here? I'm like, George, don't worry about it. I'll be here before. He's like, and then he was waiting for me one of these days. It was like 4:45 out there in the spring. I said, hey, you got me, okay. So I said we had a little competition going on, but he preps. He understands what it takes to play this game. He's been doing it for long enough. Obviously, as a senior, he knows what his body needs to be ready for practice as well, and to be ready to compete at a high level. And so not only does he do that for himself, once again, he's helped some of the other guys know this is what it takes to play this position, because you're in the fight every single snap.
How similar or different did Weber State use him to what our defense is going to use?
We've used, I think, in similar ways. We do a lot with them, even in regards to dropping them, blitzing them, putting him in. I think we put him in different situations than Weber did, but a lot of similarities.
Have you ever talked, meditation and all the stuff that he really focuses on a lot of stuff that he does?
Yeah.
On the field.
We haven't talked so much about meditation, more just the mental makeup it takes in regards to like visualizing plays and how to win the game before you even step on the field. We've talked a little bit about that. We've talked different podcasts and things that he listens to just to put your mind in the right state. And I think because it's going to go one of two ways. And I think sometimes either the music you listen to or what you feed into your mind and your soul is going to affect you. And he knows that at a high level. He's very acute to what his body needs from a physical standpoint, even mentally. And so we've had some really good conversations, even talks about different books and stuff like that. So excited for George.
He seems like a guy who realizes like the next step in professional football and wants to milk every ounce of his talent and potential to see how far he can go with that.
No question.
Have you seen that since he got here?
Absolutely. And that's, we had that conversation even with recruiting, where he knew there's a lot of different things that went into it, but one of the main reasons was he wants to be developed, wants to win championships, wants to do it in Boise, but he wants to be developed to have a shot to go play at the next level. And seeing him operate from the second he walked on campus in January, he has shown that is a huge desire of his heart. It's easy to talk about, right? Everybody, you ask anybody who want to play in the NFL, they're all going to raise their hand. But for him, seeing him put the work in to hopefully put himself in that situation. Obviously, time will tell, but he's worked his tail off to put himself in that spot.
What type of season can Dimitri have? What's his ceiling?
I mean, similar to a lot of our guys, man, it has been great to have Dimitri healthy for a whole offseason. Spring ball, summer, fall camp. I think this is one of the few spring balls he's been able to actually go the whole thing through. Last spring ball, he wasn't healthy with his ACL till really right at the start of fall camp. And so it's been awesome to see his development with the full offseason with Coach Kagi. And like I said, Coach Pop, Coach Avalos, they've done a great job with developing Dimitri, because he can do a ton with us. You guys know how much we use that edge position and where we line him up, where we put him. And so I'm excited for him. Like I said, I can't testament to what an individual player is going to do this year, because at the end of the day, that's why you play the game. But I do know I can pinpoint how they've prepped. And I know that he is living with no regrets in regards to how he's worked all the way to this point. And so I'm very excited for him.
Sorry, speaking of knee injury, Markel Reed, what have we seen from him? And obviously he won that spot. And I know some of those guys say it takes them half the season or whatever coming off the injury until they feel 100%. I mean, has he looked 100% to you? Or?
He's looked awesome. Obviously, early in fall camp was when there's a progression when these guys come off a big injury like he had last year. But it's been awesome to see him little by little get to where he is now. And he's moving at a very high level, playing at a high level. So it took a little bit in fall camp just because of being smart with him, making sure the progression was the right way. But Markel Reed's playing at a very high level right now.
We talked to Jackson Cravens last week, and he told us how many double teams he takes on all the time, and he had bruises and handprints all over his neck. I mean, just from a mentality standpoint, what does it take to play nose?
Oh, any position on defense, it takes mentality, right? And that's what we talked to him. Every player from the nose guard to the corner that it takes that. But up front, I mean, it's an absolute dogfight every single snap. And getting our guys to understand that. Also, the big thing we try to do is understand how one piece affects another. If a nose guard is not doing his job, it is going to affect the corner at some point. But there's different run fits that happen where if everybody does their job, it's going to be the corner who has to make the tackle. So, but up front, I mean, from our noses and our D tackles, I mean, being able to have the mentality and the violence to play up there is everything. And Coach Miley does a great job, those guys, and they've done a great job this fall camp.
And knows that they're really just eating up blockers. They don't get much of the glory. I mean, does it take a kind of a special person to do that play in and play out?
It does, and at the end of the day, our defense is going to be built. It all starts with stopping the run, and obviously that starts up front. And seeing those guys grow in their fundamentals and their techniques for this offseason, and Coach Miley's done a great job with them. I'm excited to see them put on a show this Saturday. Now, at the end of the day, just like anything I tell them, the beautiful part about defense, unlike offense, is you don't call plays to give someone the production. It could be anybody at any time. And so just building it into that team defense is not one guy making a tackle. I'm here to take up blockers. But it depends on what play we're getting. That could be that situation. So I'm just excited for those guys. But it does take a different mentality to play nose guard and D tackle. There's no question.
I know you got some versatility and experience at linebacker, but you look at that Mike position. Is Marco Notarini, is he really his first guy at that position behind Mike?
Marco's, yeah, excuse me, guys. Marco's had a great fall camp, and very similar to DJ, Zeke, like some of these guys that have been here and that played really well. Is his football IQ is very high, and he does a great job in how he studies. Obviously, he's a redshirt freshman, hasn't really played in any game, so there's going to be some jitters. There's going to be a lot of that, but how he preps, he's a 4.0 student. He's handled his business, and so now it's just going to be getting him ready for the stress that happens when this is the first game that I'm potentially going to play.
You're going into another year as Boise State defensive coordinator. I mean, it was just a decade ago you were still like a linebacker at Sousa Pacific. Your LinkedIn page is still online with you and Matt Brown. Do you ever like look back at your ascent in this journey and kind of, relive it all?
That's a great question. I think just for me, I mean, just like anything, I really believe that, the days are long, the years are short. Time is flowing. I mean, this is my 6th season at Boise State, and it's a dream job for me. I love being here. And the reason it is for me is because I literally, absolutely love these kids. Every player that walks in here, I care about them deeply. And so that's what makes it a dream job for me, is because of these players. And I wouldn't trade it for the world, like being able to see them. And that's the work that we put in as a D staff, the hours and what you do, is because you want them to receive, you want them to reap the benefits of their hard work. It's not just to look good on, it's okay, I want you to know what it feels like to work your tail off when no one's looking, and then reap the benefits. I mean, that's why we do what we do. So, no, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm very thankful to be in the spot I am, love this place, and the reason that it's so special to me is because of our players.
A guy like Rodney Robinson, obviously a big character, and I'm just curious, like, where does swag, confidence, like, how does that play into your defense?
Oh, no question. You have to have confidence when you play defense. You have to. The biggest thing that we tell our players that all the time is there is a fine line between being cocky and confident. To me, confidence is created through your preparation. So you can go on the field and feel and have a swagger about yourself, a high level of confidence, because when that guy moves, you know exactly what play's coming, right? That's confidence. You can communicate it, you can see it, you can do it. And that's what we want to breed into our guys, because you need that. You do not want to be on your heels and, oh gosh, I hope I know what I'm doing. But if you don't prep the right way and you don't know the scheme and you don't know what's coming, you won't be able to play with that confidence or swagger, as people might say. Different, cocky's you're just assuming. You're just hoping you're going to go out there and play the game, which at this level, you won't be able to do.
Thanks, Spencer. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys.